Welcome back to Vaughn's Twins channel. I'm Kiana. And I'm Kenya. And welcome back. Welcome back. What's up, y'all? So, this video is going to be one that's a little bit more serious in nature, and that is about rejection, especially rejection around the holidays. Kenya and I have personal experience with this, and so we just wanted to talk about how we dealt with it and give you all some tidbits, tricks, and things of that nature that might be able to help you. So the title of this video is called Setting Expectations and Boundaries Around the Holidays. So Kenya, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right.
All right. So um, first things first is whenever you are given an invitation to be someplace, be it to a family member's house, friend's house, boyfriend, girlfriend's house, whatever, and you know that you're going to be put in a situation to where said family members or friends don't care for you, may not like you, may not care if you are around, but you want to attend for the sake of your family member or friend or significant other, then we have some tips and tricks around how to deal with that. Okay. So, first, you want to walk into, and then I'm going to tell you the way that I did it. So, you want to walk into the environment in extreme gratitude. So, for instance, if you walked into your family members or friend's house, you want to, oh, okay, thank you. Thank you guys so much for inviting me. I'm so glad to be here. Is there anything that I can do to help? Right? Now, truth of the matter is that no matter what you say or what you do, it still may not be enough and may not shift their attitude toward you. But you want to make sure that you remain, again, in a place of gratitude and you remain as positive as possible. Now, rejection is something that's really difficult to ignore. You know when you're being rejected. I know when I've been rejected. I know when somebody really don't want me to be there, but they just dinner with me for the sake of just dealing with me, right? So another thing that you could do is if you feel that rejection is be like, hey, is everything good? Are we okay? You know, and if they say, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. Everything's fine," then at the end of the day, you've opened up the opportunity. You've opened the door for a conversation to be had if they feel any kind of way about you. And if they either decline the conversation, don't want to have the conversation at that time, or if they say that everything is good, then don't take it personal. It is not on you. Whatever issue they have with you is not on you, especially if they're not willing to discuss it. Okay. Another thing that you want to do being in that situation is keep it simple. Don't embrace on these long drawn out conversations. Don't don't allow them to enter into your world so much so that they could possibly use the information that you've given them against you. So it's okay to be friendly, but don't be too open, if that makes sense, or don't be too vulnerable. Because if they're the kind of people that don't really care for you, then they don't have your best interests at heart. Therefore, the information that you share with them, it's more than likely not going to stay between just y'all two, right? Um, Everybody else is probably going to know your business. And then they might end up saying something in that moment to use the information that you have given them to turn it around and use it against you or to make you feel bad about what you're sharing, right? So keep it simple and keep it surface, you know, and just be cordial. And like I said, and stay positive. Now, one thing that I did not mention that I probably should have mentioned going into the situation is make sure you pray. Make sure that you pray. Make sure that you ask God to guard your heart. And also make sure that before you go into the situation that you are asking God to forgive you if there is anything that you may be harboring against them, and then ask you to walk into the situation with a level of grace that you can offer. Because at the end of the day, you would want somebody to offer grace to you as well, no matter how ugly or nasty you were acting. You want others to give you grace. So you give the same thing back in return. But I think, again, one of the most important things or takeaways that I learned is to just not take it personal. People have their own hangups. People have their own things that they're dealing with. They got their own demons that they're trying to fight. And again, if they're not open to having a conversation with you, then just be like, okay, well, this is not about me. This is about them. And and just leave it. Just leave it. Just leave it as is. And that way, I feel like you won't allow yourself or your heart to become so invested to the point to where it could possibly be hurt. Right? Because we know, like in relationships, we get hurt, right? Like you can't get around that. That is unfortunately one of the drawbacks of being in any relationship is that heartbreak and stuff is inevitable. But don't walk into a situation or put yourself into a situation where the likelihood of that happening is higher than a relationship where, like it's where it's more of a healthier relationship. Don't walk into that. So anyway, that's my tidbit. What do you have to say about it, Kenya?
Okay, so to piggyback off of that, before encountering family members that you know are going to be difficult around the holidays, or that just walk in rejection, always reject you, you want to make sure that before you show up to whomever the family member's house is, that you prioritize your self-care. And the reason is because you want to make sure that the energy that you carry and the aura and the disposition that you carry is the most positive. Um, Now, there are a number of things that you can do to aid in your self-care. It can be taking a long bubble bath before going over. It can be working out. It can be taking a walk. It can be maybe doing some shopping. If shopping or even window shopping is good R&R for you, then it can be that. It can be reading a good book. But at the top of the day, when you wake up, you definitely want to make sure that you pray, and you also want to make sure that you recite some affirmations over yourself. Because the thing that I've learned about reciting affirmations is that it literally sets your spirit up and sets your body up and your mind up to be in alignment. And so if you're saying things to yourself like, I am worthy, I am enough, I am pretty, I have a lot to contribute to the world, I am a gem, I am God's precious daughter, I show up in my best self, have I contribute purpose to the world. I have, like it just everything that's within you that you exude. You want to make sure that you say those affirmations to yourself at the top of the day after you pray. Like I said, what that enables you to do is to keep your body, your heart, your mind, and your soul in alignment so that no matter what conversation you walk into, you know that your energy isn't causing them to walk in rejection. You know that because you brought your best self to the conversation or relationship or situation, you know what I mean? And if what you're met with is rejection, you know that that didn't come from you. You know that it's only them. Not only that, but it enables you to have tougher skin.
Yeah.
So that when you do walk or when you do find yourself dealing with the rejection, not only do you know that it's not your issue, but it's their issue, but also it doesn't penetrate you as deeply as it could have had you walked into the situation just needing validation, needing affirmation. When you take the time at the top of the day to give yourself what you need, you don't need it from anybody else. And so, therefore, people's words don't hurt as deeply as they could. Now, don't get me wrong, people's words hurt. And unfortunately, they're words that you can't take away. But at the end of the day, you are not setting yourself up to expect something that you're not going to get, and you're also setting yourself up. You're also setting yourself up to kind of in a sense allow those words to just bounce off of you and maintain your sense of self-worth. The other one that I have is decide in advance how you're going to respond. So if you know that you deal with a family member and every single year you show up, let's say it's Christmas time, you show up to the house, and in order for you to get your gift or your plate of food or whatever, you got to sit down and listen to their woes. And you all know that you got that. Sometimes you have that one family member that always got some doggone woes.
Right.
Always. And so you have to make a decision as to whether or not you're going to entertain and you're going to engage or you're not. So stop. My point is that you stop expecting for things to be different until they show you different. And so if you have that family member that's always discussing what their woes are and they really want to try and get some type of sympathy or empathy out of you, in order to like get you on their side or in order to get you to feel bad for them or whatever, make a decision that whatever the situation is that may whatever the topic of choice that may cause you to go down that road and make them be the victim, make a decision that you're not going to entertain that. So it can sound like this. I'm sorry, I'm Mary. I understand that you're having the same issue that you had last year and the year before and the year before and the year before.
Now don't say that now.
Now, I am literally paraphrasing right now. So don't say this in detail, but I'm just to give you an example. You have these family members, it's like the same thing over and over and over and over again. My boyfriend won't marry me. My boyfriend doesn't treat me well. My boyfriend this, my boyfriend that, husband this, husband that, husband this, money woes. I need money here, I need money there, whatever the situation is. You know what? As much as I love you, Aunt Mary, that's a conversation that I'm not going to engage in because I've already given you advice, or maybe multiple family members have already given you advice, and you know, for you're unable to receive it right now. So let's just stay focused on having positive conversation and enjoying one another in the moment, and just quickly shift the conversation into something that's a little bit more positive. Now you're going to find your own words, you're going to figure out your own segue on how to transition from one topic of the conversation to the next. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to get across to you is that you don't have to sit there and take it. You don't have to engage in that topic of choice that they continue to bring up. You don't have to deal with the rejection. Like, you don't have to. Decide how you're going to show up, decide how you're going to engage or not, and let your yay be yay and your nay be nay. So, those are my tidbits. Those are my tips on how to deal with difficult family members. And like I said, as well as what Kiana said, some of the tools in which you do that is by reciting affirmations to yourself at the top of the day. Make sure you pray, meditate, worship, do all that at the top of the day so that you can set yourself up to be able to give um, your best self to your family.
So another thing I think that people don't really explore is, like Kenya said, you don't have to engage. You just don't have to. So what that means is you literally don't have to go. You can choose to have, embrace your chosen family, or maybe a different side of your family that is going to embrace you and not show you rejection. Or if you don't want to go to your spouse's family's house or something, you don't have to, you know? And so maybe an alternative is, hey, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so grateful that you've invited me to your family gathering. However, this is not a good time for me. Is it okay that we meet up after the first of the year? How about January? What's a time in January that's good for you? I'd love to still meet, but now's not a good time. And so the reason I say that is because people go through a lot of emotional stuff during the holiday. Like, rejection is one thing, but then rejection during the holiday, that's a completely different beast. People have lost family members where whereby they're grieving their family members all the time, but then especially during the holiday season because of what it brings, what it represents. So if like if you're just feeling in your spirit, like, you know what, this year I can't even do it, then don't force yourself to do it. Don't, offer the alternative. I'd love to see you, but now it's just not a good time. How about next week? How about after the holiday? And if they choose to be like, oh, well, no, I can't do that, then fine. Like Kenya said, take care of yourself first. Self care is very important. And you can't be good to anybody else until you are good to yourself first.
I do not want you to take away from what I'm saying is that you're making everything about you, because the holiday season is about family. But if you have family members that don't have that same type of mindset, that it's about family and it's about really embracing everybody and making them feel like a family unit by spreading love, then you can make a decision that you just do not want to engage with those individuals. So, yeah, definitely. If you don't want to go because you know that they don't walk in that same vein, then just don't go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if there's anybody who have dealt with rejection during the holiday from friends, family, you know, in-laws, please leave your tidbits and your advice down below. I'm sure that other people would love to learn how you all have dealt with it. And yeah, and so let's just open up the discussion. As Kenya stated earlier, holiday season is right around the corner, and we want you all to walk into it being equipped and well prepared.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for tuning into this video, this very serious topic.
Yeah.
And we love y'all so
We love
much.
you.
Be blessed. Take care of your souls. Take care of your minds. Take care of your spirits. And we will see you all in our next one.
Yes, and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Bye.